Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. So, this episode started where it left off last time, where they were wrapping up everything with the Whitlows. Are they Whitlows or Whitmores? I think it's Whitlows. Tiffany and her husband. So, Marceau just wanted to make sure that everybody was understanding where he comes from because he is not here for the comments from everybody. Like, they are the ones who are the only ones who've been married for the longest amount of time. And it's like, how you gonna try to come to me and tell me what could work for my marriage when y'all ain't even been married a year at the time of you trying to give me said advice? And the husband tried to say, well, yeah, I might not have been married that long, but I can still add something of substance to it. I can tell you some things. And I have parents and I know other people who've been married for 30 some years. And Marceau was like, okay, but that's just other people's opinion. Like, I don't need it. Like, I don't understand why you're not understanding what I'm saying to you. And like I've said before, it does not matter how long you have been married / with someone in a relationship. Because a lot of people be out here married for forever and they have been trash. They have been out here fighting the bopping. They have been out here cheating on people day in and day out. So just because you're with somebody for a long period of time does not mean that you are considered to be relationship goals, which nobody should actually sit up there and have or try to project onto others and say, oh, well, that's relationship goals. Look at that. No. No. And when I say that, I'm talking about people who really look at these like celebrities and like, oh my gosh. No, don't do that because you will set your own self up for failure. I feel like everybody's relationship is 100% completely different. Now, can you look at someone that you know for a fact, you see the ins and outs like I do when I see my parents? Yes, I feel like that is one of the more valid places where you should be able to look towards to say, okay, I can look at them. That is something that I can actually take notes. I can look at what they've done and I can take notes because I was in the house with them. I've seen them when they've argued. I've seen them when they made up. And when the arguments happened, it was usually the type of arguments that you want to happen. Like something as minuscule as the top not being on the toothpaste. And usually when they were arguing, they were playing. Like, that's why it got to a point where I really thought that my parents were going to get a divorce, but they were playing with each other. They were literally like creating a fight when there really was no fight happening. It was just their thing to do. And I told my mama as an adult that I thought they were going to get a divorce. I have never heard such a hearty laugh from my mama in all of life until I told her that. She was like, what are you talking about? Like, I really was on the verge of tears on the inside, trying not to let them come out because I live for my daddy now. I live for my parents, but I really live for my daddy because I'm a daddy's girl, so that hurt me. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be in a two-parent household. Like, pretty much almost all of my friends. Like, all of my friends, just about, if not all of my friends, none of them have present fathers. Most of them have never known their fathers and all this other stuff, but I always felt so good to be able to say I had my daddy in the household and I don't have daddy issues. And my daddy made sure to teach us things and he was in the house. And even though he worked, he made sure to be present and he would tell us things and teach us things, despite the fact of whether or not it was me and my sister or it was things that he had to tell to my brother so that he could know, okay, as a man, this is what you need to do. So yeah, y'all, I'm sorry I went off on a tangent, but I had to get that out. But I just don't like when people want to be like, well, I've been with this person for forever. Okay, but I mean, is it actually a happy relationship? Are y'all fighting more than y'all are on great terms? Like, is it a front? Was it a situation where somebody was being sponsored and they ain't had no choice but to deal with what was going on because they had no means of their own to live without you? Like, I'm just saying there are so many different factors that most people fall under that. To me, most people have not had meaningful relationships to even speak of. And I feel like his might be one of those because I've heard so many rumors alleged things about Marceau. And it's just like, and Letitia has to fight to help everybody to try to remember and to just know that she's happy and her relationship is so great. But at the same time, she had to trick her husband into going to therapy because she feels some type of way. Now, if everything was all hunky-dory and all of that, you would not need to trick your husband into doing these things. Sorry, no, that's just not the way it's gonna go. But anyway, so moving right along, they end up telling the men that they're gonna have to go on by their business because it's ladies' night and the ladies have some things to discuss. Carlos wanted to make sure everybody was doing all right. And eventually they started going over how a lot of these friendships that could have been developing or that were developing, how they have gone, and the ones that were already there, where are they now? So they went over how Destiny and Tiffany got off on the wrong foot. And at one point, Letitia ended up intervening and saying, oh, well, I just felt like because everything that was going on between you two, meaning how things have happened with Melody and Destiny, she was like, well, she did the same thing to me. You can't sit up there and make it seem like, oh, well, I'm going through something. And the only time you really seem like you're here for people is when things are going great for you. And when it came to Tiffany and Destiny, it was just like, okay, people are kind of looking at it like, okay, well, it seems like you brought her to the table a little bit. You kind of brought Tiffany in, and now looking like Destiny is on the back burner. And y'all used to talk all the time. Y'all used to hang out all the time. And now all of a sudden y'all don't talk at all. Ever since taping Wrapped for this show, y'all haven't spoken. Destiny said that she has reached out to Melody. Melody every now and again will text back, but nothing else really happens. But they don't even get together. They don't, like, the vibe is not there like it used to be. Melody is trying to make it seem like, life is happening. And after each taping, I take time to myself because y'all apparently don't understand what I be going through after all this stuff has come out. And like, this is like one of the more draining seasons for her because you got the side heifer out here, just really out here. And it's just too much going on. A whole baby, you got to discuss that. You got to discuss how Martell tried you. It's just so much stuff. And she hates the fact that she is in Huntsville. She don't even like being there. And it's just like, it's just too much. It's bringing up all kinds of things. It is uncovering old wounds. It's a lot. So, I could get that. But at the same time, my thing is this. Like, as of late, I have my moments where I don't talk to anybody at all. I talk to like 2 people every day. But it's because they reach out to me. And like it's just a thing that we have. But everybody else, I don't talk to them like that. Like, I leave video messages for my parents and all that to let them know I'm alive. But I'm alive, but that's about it. I don't talk to nobody. I have a decent amount of friends, and I don't talk to them like that. So it's just to the point where I need my peace. And these particular people, in general, I can talk to them all day, every day about any and everything. And I don't have to worry about them judging me. But if I want them to tell me what their thoughts and their actual opinion of something is, they can. And there are times I really be going through some stuff and they will tell me what I need to hear, and it gets me over that hurdle, and I appreciate that. So you should be able to have a couple of people in your corner, even if you don't want to be around a lot of people, even if you don't really want to talk to people like that. The fact that Destiny was reaching out, she was trying to be a friend. Like, why sit up there? And I don't understand why she wasn't analyzing it like, okay, well, dang, she trying to be a friend. She really trying. Like, she really reaching out to you. And then given the fact that Destiny has gone through this divorce. So it's like, Destiny is looking at it like, dang, she's supposed to be my friend. And I'm going through this. Like, I'm raising a child. Like, this man filed paperwork to divorce me 3 months after I gave birth to my first child. Like, who does that? And now we finna get divorced. And she's gone through this. I've tried to be there for her while she was going through her divorce. And she is now pretty much on the other side of it. There's just other little things that are going on in this moment. But as far as the divorce part, she has gotten past that. She is overcome and she has so much stuff going on. Yes, Melody has a lot going on as far as businesses and she has her kids. But my thing is this, I feel like she should be able to reach back out and say thank you so much for reaching out to me and taking the time out of your day to do that, because there are people don't have to do that. For her to take the time out of her busy schedule, because I'm pretty sure she has stuff to do too, out of her busy schedule to reach out to you, why is it that you couldn't reach back out to her more often and actually act as if you are appreciative that you have a friend that actually cares about your well-being and they reaching out and say, hey, or whatever. There are times you really need to be taken out of what you have going on so that you can recenter, refocus, and all of that. And I am so appreciative of my friends, even my friends that aren't the ones that I talk to every day. There are some that live here in the city that I live in that will really be like, come over, we gonna talk, and we gonna do what we gonna do. Like when I was doing the little margarita thing with one of my friends, we would meet up like twice a month and just talk about everything that has happened over the past 2 weeks. And we would have our nice little good cleansing and all of that. Like, it was so great. It was so amazing. So, I mean, then of course, everything happened with this pandemic. And so it's like a lot of stuff has been, put off, but it's okay. And I still have, like, one of my friends, she'll come by where I live and she'll just sit outside and I'll either sit in her car, or if it feels nice enough outside, I'll just walk back and forth while she's sitting in her car and we'll talk. Like, we'll talk for hours. And I appreciate that because you took the time out of your day. You live an hour away from me. Like, that's the thing. Driving one direction, this person lives an hour away from me and she'll come by to talk to me after she's gotten off work. Okay, so, I have real friends and I'm glad to have real friends in my corner. Y'all, I'm so sorry I took so much time on that. I know y'all probably like, girl, don't nobody care. But anyway, so like I was saying earlier, Carlos actually brought up something and he said, Tisha, you made a face. And so, apparently when Melody said something, Carlos felt like she made a face or whatever. And so she was like, well, Melody tries to make it seem like she's a great friend, but she actually isn't a great friend. And I just feel like she just does not know how to be a good friend. And that's why she does the thing that she does. And just because she's saying in this moment that, oh, well, I haven't talked to Destiny since we wrapped and whatever. I feel like that's just her. And she only will talk to you when she, is going through. But once she get back on her feet and everything is going well, it's fine. And then she would say that her relationship was different with Melody. She said that with Destiny, they were forming a relationship on camera and that she already had a relationship with her. So it wasn't like, oh, okay. So that was their difference. But, Melody is still pretty much being the same with just totally disregarding people who are trying to be friends with her. So yeah, it's a mess. So ultimately, Destiny does not know where she stands with Melody. Melody keeps trying to make it seem like everything's fine, but then it's like, girl, it's really not. Like, it's not. It's a mess. So now they're going over everything that has been going on between Kimmy, Letitia, and Letitia's mama and all this other stuff. And Kimmy wants to, just finally be like, look, you keep on talking about you had my back. Do you really? Like, have you ever really had my back? And so she was like, when have I never had your back, Kimmy? And she was like, when have you ever had my back? So everybody was like, oh. I mean, look. And then you see moments where the way that Letitia reacts to information, whether it's true or false, she's almost kind of like, ooh, let me get my teacup ready. And I would feel some type of way if I saw the playback and that's the way it was. So it is what it is. But I just feel like Letitia is very needy because her husband is not around a lot. And so she must not really have that many friends that she can, call on to be able to talk to and to vent to. And so it's like, come on now. But yeah, It's just moments where she's just like, you're not being a friend, but stop making it seem like you don't know what's going on. And at the same time, there are times that they want to try to pit Kimmy against Letitia. And so she was like, don't do that. Kimmy was like, don't even try to do that, because I've had your back and y'all always try to make it seem like I don't have your back. There were some things that were not seen and put in as a clip on the television, but I have gone hard for you. I have set it off for you. So I don't know why you want to sit up here and act like you've done all these things when you haven't. But it is what it is. And I'm just like, child, don't nobody have time. But yeah, it's just a mess. And then you could tell that Letitia's in her feelings, because whenever the conversation pretty much doesn't go anywhere, she was just like, okay, that's fine. Oh, okay, that's cool. Whatever you want to say. Okay. It's basically like whatever you want it to be, instead of actually communicating with the person and just say, I am hurt. I feel like the things that you're telling me are not what's happening. And I want this friendship to be, or I want whatever to happen. Like, I don't like that. Don't be dismissive. Don't be dismissive and then get in your feelings when it comes back out that y'all ain't cool no more. And it's because you want to continuously sit up here and act as if you're setting it off for people. But then in the same turn, you want to get mad and just be like, oh, it's okay. Well, it obviously wasn't okay, because look at how you're acting in this moment. You're in your feelings. Whether it's warranted or not, you're in your feelings. So stop trying to be dismissive of your own feelings in this situation. And if you wanted to change or have the potential to change, you should say, okay, this is something that hurts me. I thought that we were better than this. Hopefully we can, when the cameras stop rolling for this, we can actually start trying to do some things to work on our relationship as friends. But it is what it is. So, yeah, it's just to a point where the mamas finally come out, and I was just like, Lord, here we go with Wanda. Child, don't nobody have time. One of the things that they brought up was whether or not Vanessa, who is Melody's mama, had a relationship with Maurice and Marceau's brother, who I guess he has some kind of affiliation with Scolt, because she worked at Scolt before. I don't know if he worked there or not, but it's their brother nonetheless. So anyway, she said, no, we were friends. That was it. So somebody was like, oh, well, I heard you was driving 5 hours one way to the man's house and all these other things. And so like, it just got to a point where Melody was playing into it. And because Martell was the one who was saying all this stuff, she was like, yeah, they got hotel rooms and everything else. Yep, they sure did. Yep. I want to see this sex tape, because they're trying to say that there's a sex tape out there and all this other stuff. Carlos wanted to know, like, have y'all heard any of this? Like, have y'all seen any pictures? Have y'all seen any video recording? Like, what is going on? Marceau said, I ain't seen nothing. I don't know what's going on, but I do believe that there was a relationship. Like, anybody who has seen them together, you could tell that they were really, 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 really close. And so she was just like, yeah, we went on a relationship. And Carlos was like, I mean, but you're a single woman. She was like, yeah, I am single. And if I choose to do something, I can do what I want to do. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. People get on my nerves. So anyway, they turned the page. And so they wanted to know, how Van felt about Melody and Martell's relationship / marriage coming to an end. And so she was like, of course I wanted to see them make it, but, I wanted to see my daughter happy again. And Melody started to kind of get emotional. And so she was just like, the reason why I'm getting emotional is because my mama saw where I was. And it was a lot. Like, for somebody to see their child hurting like that, if you're actually a real parent, it's going to do something to you. No matter what you want to happen, what is better for them is what it needs to be. So I'm glad that she was just like, yeah, I understand y'all ain't together no more, or you might want to get a divorce. Do what makes you happy. I want you to be happy at the end of the day. And it is what it is. So yeah. Then we heard that a couple of weeks ago, when they filmed this, a couple of weeks ago, apparently Melody went to some place, and the side heifer was there with their child and with him. and her children were in the car, and one of them was all out the window and was like, "Get away from my daddy, get away from my father." And so Carlos was like, "Wait a minute," but it's a lie. I don't know what's going on. So it just got to the point where they started going back and forth, and then it was just like, "Look here." This girl said, Melody said, this woman, excuse me, she said, "I don't have to protect your life." And I was like, "I know that's right. You have 4 children's lives to protect. It is what it is." But yeah, Mariah, that's the child. I knew it started with an M, but I was like, the name I always think of is like the smallest one. I'm like, that's not the one. But anyway, Mariah was not here for it and was screaming and yelling because, and then they don't even know. Like to this day, they still do not know, or at least they feel like none of the children know. Now, the oldest children might know because they are old enough to be scrolling, and this stuff is on blogs. This is on reality gossip sites, places that I would have never thought would care about this show have been reporting on it. So it would not surprise me if at least 2 of the 4 children know about this. So it is what it is. So anyway, it's just a mess. Child, so Miss Wanda be doing the most. So Van wanted to know, why is it that she thought that her daughter would want to take advice from Wanda? And it was like, girl, you need to go somewhere and sit down. And I just be like, why did she do this? Why did she do this? And then it's like, just stop. Nobody is asking. I don't even understand why they keep inviting her to events at this point. I just don't understand. Like, are y'all doing this for ratings? Are y'all doing this for ratings? I can't. Like, it's a mess. And it's just to the point where, yeah, we understand that Letitia is your daughter. But the problem is you keep butting your nose into her business and into everybody else's business, and nobody asked you. Nobody asked you for the input that you keep on giving. She's one of the people who was stirring the pot on Van's situation. She was like, well, I saw it out there on social media that there were videos out there of her. And so she was like, but it's not true. And Letitia was like, Mom, I already told my mama that, if she didn't hear it from her mouth or her child's mouth, then there's no reason for her to repeat it. Don't just sit up there because somebody says something in the comment section when they do a live video or whatever. Don't think that, oh, it's true because they said it. You think Miss Wanda want to hear that? No, she ain't gonna do that. Then, of course, she has beef with Kimmy. And so she was like, I don't like Kimmy like that because she's sitting up here and talking crazy about my daughter to my daughter. Child, how old is Miss Wanda? I can't. She up here talking about she and Kimmy are so close in age. And I'm like, y'all really trying to play. I don't think Kimmy is old. Like, y'all really be trying to make it seem like she's just so old. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? I don't think Kimmy is that old. Like, y'all really are trying it. Like, how old is Miss Wanda? How old is Kimmy? Like, she really trying to make it seem like they are so close in age. Yes, she's older than her husband. I don't think she that much older. Like, she really was doing the most. She was like, we closer in age. And I'm like, okay. I don't know about all that, but whatever. So anyway, it's just a problem because, like, when it came to that situation, first of all, they already played back that footage before. I don't know why they didn't do it on the reunion, but Kimmy did not tell her mama to shut the F up. I don't understand why she is saying that. She made it seem like she went to that woman's face and was like, shut the F up. That's not what happened. Like, she just straight up stood her ground and told her, like, we not finna do this. She did not say that to her. She did not disrespect her. She did not disrespect her. Lord. I don't know why I couldn't say that. But yeah, it's a mess. Like, Miss Wanda, stay trying, people. Kimmy said, I have given you chance after chance. I've let you slide several times. But then it gets to a point where I'm not going to let you slide no more. And I hate that in that moment, she didn't clarify yet again, roll back that bean footage, and they probably would have done it and say, I did not. First of all, I didn't say that to her. But if she had, she would have been well within her right. I'm sorry, because Miss Wanda be trying it. Like, she really be trying it. But yeah, I'm just so like, girl, please go somewhere. So yeah, things are getting out of hand. between Martell and Melody. And I cannot with him because he really be trying to dictate and try to tell somebody to be quiet and all this other stuff. And it's like he starts this stuff 99% of the time. And then it's like, even if they're in the middle of arguing, he starts saying disrespectful stuff like telling her to shut up, be quiet, and all this other stuff. I was like, oh, you better go somewhere and shut up. You go somewhere and shut up. So when she retaliates and says what she says in return, I'm like, oh, well, it is what it is, because he really be trying it. All right, so the reunion is coming to an end, and they wanted to be nice and celebrate Black. The champagne, what is it, black champagne? Whatever, the chocolate, the black chocolate, whatever that champagne is called, that Letitia and her husband Marceau have. And so they said, do we have anybody available to bring it out? Jalen appeared. I'm like, dang, he ain't even put on like a little, no, like slacks and a little like dress shirt. Oh, okay, whatever. Oh, he couldn't even do that. That was interesting. But he came out with a bottle or two, and everybody ended up toasting, and they made little jokes about Destiny and him being together because he ended up sitting next to her, and she was like, you remember I'm not your type, and all of this. And she ended up handing him a glass. It was like, are you old enough? Like, they just kept taking shots. It was crazy. So anyway, they wanted everybody to toast to a great season that they've had. They have gotten renewed for a new season, and everybody feels like they were not able to get everything out and resolved that they wanted to, but y'all should have been able to do that. Y'all had too many times where y'all could have did that. I don't understand why y'all didn't get that in. But anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm glad it's over for this season. It's just too much going on. The side heifer out here shopping with Martell, and he in the background. I'm just like, child, everybody tired of her. It's just to the point where it's just like, girl, are you proud being the rebound? Like, are you proud being a side? These people really be out here proud being side heifers, being one of the side heifers. I guess she the main side heifer, so she feel like she's so special. But karma is definitely coming. Karma is coming. Don't know when, don't know how, but it's coming. So feel free to bask in the glory of that. Anyway, hopefully y'all have a good day. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's get down in the comment section and discuss this foolishness. All right. I'll see y'all later on. Have a good one. Bye.